Welcome to The Ripple Effect with Soria, where we discuss personal development, the entrepreneurial journey, and impact. Here is your host, Armando Soria.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to The Ripple Effect. Today, I'm very excited to have a very special guest on a very special day. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you all that if you gain any value, if you find this show entertaining, do us a huge favor, share the show, throw it on socials, connect with us on YouTube, talk to us. We want to hear from you. Without further ado, Paige.
Hey.
What's up, Paige?
What's up? How's it going?
Oh man, I'm just excited to have you here.
Me too.
So for those of you who don't know, Paige Bohrer is the other half of Pillar to Post Home Inspections team.
Andrew Compton.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to butcher his last name.
Yeah.
So Andrew was a guest on the show probably about,
I think it was almost a year ago.
yeah, he was one of my first guests, and you guys make an awesome team. It's like you complement each other's strengths very well. And beyond that, you and I have forged a pretty cool relationship just over the year and then some maybe. And we're both involved with a lot of different things. And I'm just excited to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure. So what's up, Paige?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was actually thinking on the way in, where did we meet? And do you remember?
I do.
Where?
We met, well, social media. We shot a couple messages and what likes and whatnot. Yep. And then we actually met at the Chamber of Commerce. It was an event. I forget what type of event it was, but I had a little booth.
Yeah.
I had a little shitty booth.
It was good.
Little fucking tablecloth, just, you know.
Stickers?
Yeah. Did I?
I think you did.
Yeah.
You got something.
I was having fun. It was cute.
Yeah,
you know?
It was good. It was like all the vendors together.
Yeah, no, it was good. I had a little basket of something. That's what it was. I was collecting business cards to do a raffle.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned to you, or we had touched base on socials that I was going to be there. And then you came over and said hi. And I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah. In the flesh.
In the flesh.
I know. That's where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2-3 years ago.
Dang. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
So let's go ahead. For those who maybe didn't catch that first episode, can you tell us a little bit about Pillar to Post, a little bit of what you do?
Yeah.
And just kind of go from there?
Yeah. So Pillar to Post Home Inspectors, we perform home inspections for real estate agents, buyers, sellers who are buying homes, selling homes, or even just want to have like a checkup. Let's say they've been in their home for 7, 10, 15 years and they haven't checked anything in a while. So it's good to have a home inspection every once in a while for them as well. So that's what we do. We also do a termite inspection, which we've done since the inception, which is almost 4 years ago. And then we recently just launched sewer scoping with After Hours Plumbing and Drain.
Yep.
Cedric,
Shout
Taylor.
out Cedric and Taylor. Yep.
So that is new as of May 1st. And it's off to a great start already. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that I could say a lot, and I'm probably going to say a lot about you guys, and it's really cool. It's you true innovators, right? You're just constantly switching things up, keeping it fresh, offering more and more services, not stagnant by any means. Yeah. And it shows. And I know you on a personal level, but also just as a colleague and business owner here in the community, I see you guys flourishing and growing, and I really want to get into that.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, gonna blush.
No, it's it's the red lights.
Yeah.
We switched up the lighting to red to celebrate season 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the new services have been taking off. You guys have been adding more people too, right? Like since I had Andrew on a year ago, you guys have doubled in size?
Yeah, so last year when he was on, we had just hired Daniel. So Daniel's going to be coming up on 1 year with us. We just hired Rick a month ago. He's now off on his own, got his car.
Nice.
So he's like official. So yeah, we're now a team of 5. So it's myself, Andrew, Chris, Daniel, and Rick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's real steady growth in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird to look back and think, because I mean, it is kind of like one hire a year is what we've been doing, because we're going to be 4 in August. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild to look back to see where it starts from. And I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. And I don't know if I want. Yeah, why not? I'll just hit you with like some like big questions, right? So, how have you been managing that growth? It sounds like you're doing it in a controlled manner, right? You're doing it like you said. You're adding maybe one person a year, but at the same time, like I know that your demand is pretty wild. You guys have really like I can't imagine how many leads you're taking on every day. How many? I guess there's a good question. Is how many inspections do you guys generally produce in a day?
So in a day, it sometimes it depends, because we'll have like a duplex, a triplex, like multi-unit. But I mean, on a standard day, single family condos, we can do 8 a day. So that's a big amount, right? So that's 8. I mean, every single month for, I mean, the past 3 years, we're just growing every single month. So, I mean, it's wild, because at the end of the month, you're like, oh, that was a great month. We just hit all these goals.
Yeah.
We just crushed that last year's. We crushed last month. And then you're like, oh, I've got to do it all over again. So
yeah. You can't rest on your laurels too long.
Yeah.
Celebrate the wins, but get right back to it.
Yeah, it's hard to celebrate the wins sometimes, because you're just like focused on what's tomorrow. 3 months from now.
I think you and I talked about that, like my January, your February, right? Because you kind of do like a little bit different in your year planning and that kind of stuff. But I remember we talked about that. We're coming off a great year.
Yeah,
it's awesome. We've had growth. Oh shit, we got to do it again.
Yeah. No, January is definitely a defeating month. Like not business wise, but just like coming up with new plans, new ideas, and like you said, like keep innovating, right? So every January we've got our brand conference. Pillar to Post is a franchise, so we go and meet with over 300 franchisees across the country. And so that is always like my big planning time. And I come back, I go there with multiple pages of like stuff that I want to do. So throughout the year, I'm writing things down. I take this list, and then I just like start gathering bits and pieces from people that are doing better than me. Right. And then I come back, and it takes me about a month to like siphon through everything, because it's like so much knowledge. It's like what, corporate's telling you, like things that are coming down the pipe. And then it's just like learning from everybody else as well. So it takes me about a month to get through that. And so when March hits, that's when I start like implementing everything. So we had the sewer scoping was one of the ones that we wanted to do this year. Excuse me. And like the time was ticking, and March had happened. I'm like, God, I really want to get this started. And so like a couple weeks in April, I'm like, Cedric, like I want to start this in 2 weeks. He's like, all right, let's do it. He set up, the video for the announcement, and then we just did it. Yeah. So, you can have a plan, but time really does fly by, especially when you do so much. So, just keeping track of the goals is very important, because if you don't, then you're just like, oh, I wanted to do that, but I did not do that.
Yeah, no, we do that a lot, right? We as people, right? Like I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, the first thing that came to my mind is, that's really cool. You're implementing what you told yourself or what you set out to do, right? And whether or not you're ready, if you feel you got it all together, you take the leap, you make the jump, and you execute the plan. Yeah. Because a lot of the times, I'm guilty of getting, running into like the paralysis by analysis kind of thing. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do, because fear, right? Fear holds people back a lot. And, sometimes you just got to take the jump or take the leap. You
gotta do it, because if you don't, it's never gonna happen. So we could have kicked that can for many years, and it's like, oh, I wish we would have done that. But the hardest part is getting started.
No, and that's really cool. So you're aware, some of the listeners are aware, I originally came from a franchise system, and then I ended up going on my own as an independent restoration contractor. And I learned a lot from the world of franchises, right? Because basically what you're buying into is you're buying into their systems and their models. But what I've seen, and I'm sure this is kind of like what you guys are doing. I know it is, but I don't want to give away too much. But it's really interesting. Like you buy into a system, and obviously there's a lot of advantages to that in the sense that you have, mentors, people that are, you can surround yourself with a community of people that are going through it, doing it, sharing those struggles. But at the same time, what's really cool is that I've seen in my world in restoration that the franchisees who really blew up are the people that also started developing their own systems, doing their own thing, and not going against the grain from what the whole franchise, like corporate, is doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not constraining themselves by what, by their own systems. They kind of do their own, like create their own plans and that kind of thing. And
well, I think that's kind of a misconception about franchise. Like, you buy a franchise and people just think like, okay, they're doing all your marketing. They're doing your customer relation. They're doing your bookkeeping. They're doing all this stuff. They're not. Like, you're literally just buying into, the software, right? I mean, brand recognition is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Pillar to Post is #1 home inspection company in North America. And so that's really what you're buying into. Everything else really depends on you. Yeah. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I will say this, like, your corporate headquarters. I think they owe
my best friends.
Your best friends.
I love them.
I think they owe you guys a lot too, Jed, and I'm sure all the other franchisees equally, or maybe not equally, but equally.
Yeah.
And that's that. I didn't know Pillar to Post, right? Like maybe in Sacramento, right? Because that's where you guys hail from, right? For the most part, or whatever, but. I didn't know. There obviously this was an open territory for you guys, meaning that there wasn't a franchise here before. But even in all my travels, I guess you could say, right, and moving from Houston and San Antonio, Salinas, LA, like I never ran into Pillar to Post, right? So. Yeah, brand awareness is huge. And I know that there is some like marketing dollars that go into like the algorithms and Googles and, with corporate backing and, to a degree and whatnot. At least that's how it was for restoration franchises. Yeah. But I see you pounding that pavement so freaking hard. And so I just feel that, you're bringing the brand awareness to your franchisor. You know what I mean?
You should tell them that. Please write them in.
Put them on the phone, Alex.
Tell them this, please. Actually, I'm going to send them this podcast so they can just hear it, Oh, my God. They're going to love it.
They're going to shut me down.
They're going to be like, Paige, no awards this year.
Yeah. But really, though, I love Andrew. I love you too, Alex. I love Andrew. And I'm really excited to have you on because I know that you two, like I said, complement each other's strengths and weaknesses very well, where Andrew is very technical and very savvy on the construction side and on the actual operation side. I've always admired you for your marketing and relationships and just lead generation side, right?
Here we go, blushing again. Oh my God.
It's the lighting, right? But that's something that, I've always tried very hard to, when it comes to marketing, I've always tried to build on true relationships. I one of my first mentors, he dubbed it servant marketing, being of service to someone, building relationships through that manner. And I know that there are people across various industries, not just my own, that would go and just basically offer like a referral fee. Yeah. Hey, send me a lead and here's a check for $250.
Yeah.
But whatever, to each their own. I don't really abide by that. I'd rather have long-lasting relationships with people that are meaningful because I want to enjoy who I work with and spend time with them and then do something really cool like a fishing charter like we did with After Hours Plumbing, for example. Yeah. But back to you guys, like I've always respected that you really do prioritize relationships as the cornerstone of how you market. Yeah. You're involved with a lot, which is really cool. You have to be out there. You got to do all that. Yeah. But if you don't mind, can you touch on this subject? Because I just feel like this is who you guys are. Like, you know what I mean? And I know that you're the mastermind behind it.
Well, Andrew, let me tell you, he would love to be out there just as much as I would. Right. Like, that is actually...
And he does very well with that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's great. I mean, he has, he was a bartender for many years, like traveled across the globe. And so he's like naturally good at talking to people and just like finding something to have common ground with. So he would love to have more of the stuff, be able to do more of the stuff that I do. It's just at this point, it's not possible because we are so busy. He's in the field and we've got people that he needs to be watching, right? For training purposes. So that is going to be on the goal for 2025. So that's on the sheet.
Nice. Yeah, dude, we got to see a little bit more Andrew out there.
Yeah. So, so you touched on, like, came from Sacramento, right? So we signed our franchise documents 2 weeks before COVID shut everything down. So we were living
That's fun and exciting.
That was a great time. We had spent 2 years researching Pillar to Post and wanting to be a part of it. And then after those 2 years, we're like, okay, we're doing this. You know, we'd sold an investment property and that money was going to be used to do this. And so we signed, and then 2 weeks later, COVID hit, right? So it kind of put a damper on the plans, but Andrew moved down here in July of 2020. I stayed in Sacramento until March of 21, I think. So we were living apart for 6 months. We were going back and forth. I was still working in Sacramento. But when I moved down here in March, I knew like nobody, right? So everybody that I know now is, you know, somebody that I've met within the past 3 years. And so you're asking like relationship marketing.
Yeah.
Throwing yourself out there is like huge. It's so scary, especially when you don't know anybody. I mean, I remember going to events and not knowing a single person. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so painful. But that's something you have to do because people don't know you if they don't know you. So I just started saying yes to everything. Do you want to be in this organization? Yes, I do. Do you want to come to this event? Sure. Why not? Do you want to go to lunch? Yes. Can I take you to coffee? Sure. Let's do this. So I just started saying yes to anything I possibly could.
Yeah.
And part of that too was my old boss, because I used to do project management. He always told me that my biggest problem was that I would never want to get out into the field. So I'm like always the person who's behind the scenes making stuff happen, like computers, setting things up, scheduling, stuff like that. And he always said, Paige, you need to get out in the field. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I was comfortable, you know? So once, you know, we started our own business, that was a big turning point. It's like, you have to go meet people. And I genuinely like it. It's fun. I mean, people always are like, oh, I see you out at events. Like, you're having so much fun. Because, like, I genuinely am. I'm not out there, like...
Yeah, you're not faking it.
No.
You know what I mean? I that shows through big time.
Yeah. I'm not out there trying to say every single person I talk to, oh, I'm Pillar to Post home inspectors. This is what I do. This is my cost. This is my this. It's like you said, like a genuine
organic
connection. Yeah, just like getting to know people. And if people want to know more about me, my business, then that comes second.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, and you know, it's funny. Like, I would have never thought that. Like, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, like it's always, you know, super relatable to anybody. Like going into a place where you don't know someone, it's always uncomfortable. There's always that level of discomfort. But I would have never imagined that like you were like a behind the scenes type person. I thought that, you know, and shame on me for never asking, like, what did you do before? You
well,
know,
I mean, this is you know, we're learning a lot today.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I always pictured you like, you know, I assumed, shame on me, that you came from like a marketing background of some sorts. Because
people think that. No, I don't have any marketing experience at all. I pretty much just like wanted it to be fun and not boring. And
I will share with the listeners that they are they are referred to as party to post home inspectors.
Yeah, I mean, we like to have a good time. 2023 was the year of the Jell-O shot.
There you go.
This year is the year of the drunken cherry.
The drunken cherry.
And you know, like sometimes I'll like get into this mood where I just like start thinking about all these like marketing ideas that I want to do. I'll just like sit on the couch. I'll have a full calendar. And I'll be like, you know what? No, today I feel like I've got a bunch of ideas.
Nice.
And so I literally have probably a bunch of stuff for next year planned out already too.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, that's great. Because I'm just thinking about like my trifolds.
Your trifolds?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about my trifolds. Like I had
your pamphlets.
Yeah, my
pamphlets.
I've got pamphlets. I know, but you know, like where were we? We were at I think it was the KW, the Keller Williams event. Shout out to old Paul Aguilar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were at we were at that event, and I remember I was next to Tony, and Tony did well. He had a spiffy cleaning. He had his wheel and all this cool little stuff, and I had trifolds.
Yeah.
I was like, I brought a couple pieces of equipment just to take up some space on the table.
Yeah.
But then I'm inside, right? And they asked me, like, you want to be inside or outside? I'm like, I guess inside in the shade, nice and
You're like
comfortable.
in the shade. And then you realize party to post is
Well, all
outside.
of a sudden, I just hear a racket. I hear people hollering and hooting and like wooing, and I step outside and it's a freaking party and Jello shots are flowing. And I look over and of course I see this bright, green and blue, and I'm like, pillar to post.
Yeah.
Party to post.
Party to post. We like to be at people's events. We want it to be fun. And if we're the funnest table there, what can I say?
Yeah. Goals.
I try for that,
Yeah.
That is what I want to
No, that's great. And and it's super cool watching it. And it is inspiring. And I always go, man, I need to do more of that. Right. And that's it's just a good thing. So, keep on doing that. But man, it's not just obviously those events are cool, but it's also just like you're just constantly thinking of ways to build on those relationships. Like I know you guys are doing that. If you want to touch on that for a second, you're inviting now realtors to do like a home inspection on site. Yeah. So that they could, right? Can you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So a few months ago, again, shout out to Paul at Keller Williams at Coastal Estates. So they were like, it's something that I had talked to him about a year ago. So it took a while to kind of get the ball moving just because it's new and people have not done this before in our territory. So it's an interactive inspection class. So essentially, they found a listing that was coming on the market, and we performed the home inspection the day before and then did the interactive class for agents of all tenure, right? So you've got your new people and you've got people who've been there for many years. So they came out and kind of just were able to see what the process of the inspection was like. So we had, one of the things we're known for is printing all of our binders and reports on site. So I had all of those for every single agent that came, and they were able to go through the report as Andrew was showing them things, and they were asking questions, and it was really good. And we actually have another one coming up next week.
Nice, there you go.
Yeah, we've got another one. This one's going to be for Keller Williams in Santa Cruz. And this time we're bringing Best X, who's our termite company that we work with, and then after our plumbing and drain, they're coming as well. So it's going to be a full house.
Yeah, no, that's great. And with that, let's do that. So. It's you have a, how do I say it, like an interesting clientele. It's like you guys like thrive on, it's like your consumer is who typically? Is it the homeowner or is it the realtors?
So the realtor is really, they're referring us, right? So typically a realtor will have 2-3 names that they say, okay, these are the referrals. And so realtors are who we cater to mostly.
But obviously the potential buyers or the sellers are your
so they're our client,
your
right?
customer. Yeah.
So but the realtor is the one who is a referral.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's I guess the reason I bring that up is because obviously like I see everything that you do with in terms of like within your market, right? In terms of like building those relationships with your realtors, with your lenders. I see you involved with like with MCAR and all the other ones.
All the other cars.
Like, all the other cars. I can't.
San Benito, Santa Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah, I see all that. And then there's something really cool that you do, and this is how I think you and I have been able to build our relationship, our professional relationship. And you mentioned Best X, you mentioned After Hours Plumbing, and that's that. In addition to like the realtors and whatnot, you're also like building this like amazing network of trades and other industries that somehow do connect with like home services.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's super smart, right? Like you're then able to be a medium between like the homeowners or home buyers or sellers, and then also all the list of contractors and various trades that are going to be part of that transaction.
Yeah.
So it's really smart, but it's like it's a lot, right? Because you're taking on the role of having to market and build relationships with not only realtors, but now you also have to turn around and build relationships with people like us. And
I like working with everybody, right? So we've talked about this. I started a coaching class, right, back in October. And so one of the things, it's funny because a lot of the stuff that they teach you, right, is stuff that I was already doing that I didn't realize that I was doing. So you had also already mentioned like serve without opportunity, something like that, right? So like you said, building everybody up around you and like creating these relationships with the vendors as well is super important, because like somebody feels comfortable enough like to say, okay, do you know this person? Do you have a referral? I mean, just last night, somebody texted me at 8:00 looking for septic and well inspection. So do I know somebody? Yes, I do. Sent all those over. Somebody called me a couple weeks ago. I did a shout out to you on Instagram, right? Needed to see if there was water damage at a house in Gilroy. And I called you.
Loved it.
You were there the next day. So, I mean, I'm not just looking to have relationships with people because I want their business.
Right.
But it is nice to be able to just like connect people to other people, because that, like, if people are thinking about me, or me, sorry. People are thinking about Pillar to Post.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yep. So. Yeah, and it's working, right? And it's working, and of course, it's not back to, you know, a transactional relationship versus, you know, an actual organic, you know, mutually beneficial in that sense, like business wise. But yeah, and there's something to be said, like, you know, I feel like you would agree with me that there's something really cool about like referring business to your like trusted friends that, you know, that obviously they're vetted. So, you know, it's not just a friend, but it's someone that, you know, that are going to do.
They're going to take care of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost love, well, I do. I love referring projects just as much as I love receiving projects. You know what I mean? So that's something that's really special. And I see you know what I mean? I see the network that you put together, and shoot, you even did the vendor appreciation night, right? Affiliate, what you call it?
Which one? I don't know. There's so many.
We went bowling.
Oh, okay, that, yeah. So so that one, yeah. So that was the Pillar to Post vendor appreciation, right? Because I mean, we show love to so many different people, but like to really like hone it down and like have the people there that if I call you, I know you're gonna take the call. I know you're gonna help this person. I mean, Best Techs. After our Plumbing and Drain, Mark's Mill the Locksmith. I mean, all these people were there, and P&R window cleaning. I'm like, who else is there? There are so many people there.
Old Timmy.
Yeah, old Tim. So I mean, yeah, just creating that network is like huge. Yeah, huge for us.
No, for sure, and you do it in a way too that's just it just needs to be said. Like you do it with no expectation of like the favor being returned kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, and you said earlier too, like people are paying $250 for a referral. Like people have asked me like, what do you get from Best X? What do you get from these people? I'm like, we don't get anything. Like, we're literally doing this to make your life easier. I've got no other goal in mind.
That's pretty sweet. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention. So our collaboration to you local listeners is Paige and Andrew, Pillar to Post. They offer mold testing in addition to the other onslaught of different things, mold testing. And of course, when mold comes back as, you know, elevated spores and whatnot and need to be addressed, she calls us, right? Then we go in there, we write an estimate, we scope the loss, and then we go ahead and send them the estimate and get them taken care of. And I've asked, you know, I was like, well, can I do anything for you? You know, obviously when the opportunity comes, I absolutely, you know, refer them back over to you for testing purposes and that kind of thing. But sometimes it just doesn't feel like enough. You know what I mean?
But that's all. As long as you're taking care of the people that we mutually love, which is our clients, right? Yeah. That's all that matters. Yeah. So.
But you're definitely always going above and beyond, and it's very, very appreciated. And speaking of above and beyond, did I say this? I'm not sure if I said it in the intro. Paige is joining us on her birthday.
The only person I'd work for on my birthday.
So I do have something for you.
Oh, and I'm opening it live?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I going to move the mic? Is Alex going to get mad?
Maybe. But so this is for you, and it's a birthday gift, but it's also to thank you for all the referrals and for always thinking of us and taking care of us. So
right, let's take a look. What a nice wrapping job. Did you do this ribbon on your own?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's Pillar to Post themed and everything.
I was about 20 minutes late.
You were not 20 minutes late. No. Let's see. Oh, dang. Look, we got a second bottle.
The first bottle.
Sorry, first bottle. Second for later. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Very well deserved.
Which camera am I putting this into? That one?
this guy right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, I know that you never do things with any expectation of, a favor being returned or a bottle of Dom.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But, you are appreciated. And thank you so much for joining us on your birthday.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. So
absolutely.
I don't think we've had a birthday guest, though. You're the first one to come through.
Yeah. When we booked it, where were we? We were at the LLS Scala. Mm-hmm. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's grand finale.
Finale, $300,000 raised.
It's pretty amazing.
Congratulations,
everybody. Yep. So, and that's the other cool thing is as our relationship has built on, just organically and, working together, that kind of thing. We've also got the chance to rub elbows in our philanthropic endeavors as well from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We're both on the leadership team along with Alex, who's our producer.
Yep.
But also you guys come and hang out with us at our golf tournaments for Rotary and probably a bunch of other things.
Well, we're looking forward to this. I saw Nora has got the backpack
Nora.
Drive again.
Holy cow, yeah.
Miguel Santamaria, a little shout out there.
Bad sponsorship director.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I saw you guys have the backpack drive coming, so that's exciting. I'm already gonna start every time I see a backpack. I'm just gonna start collecting them. So
yeah, so it's super cool, and it just goes, I don't know, karma, right? It just comes back around. So it's really cool seeing the growth. It's really cool seeing how much you guys give back, and especially knowing how busy you guys are. And I think that goes back to, well, first of all, I was going to say back to you guys, you and Andrew splitting the workload, but I know you both work long hours and into the night. So
into the night.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to ask, as far as the team goes, one dynamic that I saw you make a post and I just thought it was really cool, but I wanted to touch on is you're a team of 5, right? And those positions, they're mostly remote, yeah?
All remote. So, we do work out of home office, so all of my work is done at a computer at my house. And all the guys, they've got their traveling office, right? Printer, iPad, cell phone, all their tools.
Yeah.
That's all you need, right?
So it's really cool to see. So I knew they were remote, but then we did go to the bowling thing and I was able to talk to a couple of the guys.
Yeah.
I haven't met your newest person, but I did talk to a couple of the guys and you're doing something that's pretty difficult to do, and I wanted to ask you about it, and that's that it seems like you have a good company culture, right? It's already showing in your people and when we're all together, but you're fostering a culture with remote people.
That is, yeah.
And that's
tricky.
pretty difficult, right? I was having a conversation with a friend of mine in Vermont the other day at a mastermind about this very thing. And I just figured I'd ask you, your thoughts on that and your approach to that.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. I think one of the main ways that I do it is I don't see them every day. So sometimes I'll go and see them at a job site if I need to drop something off or pick something up, or I want to go see this person that we're working with. So I try and do that once or twice a week, but these guys are everywhere. So how do I do it? I think for me, because Andrew sees them, they're inspecting together and things like that. But the best way for me to do it is I talk to every person at the end of the day, debrief. How did it go at your morning inspection? How did it go in the afternoon? Is somebody upset? Is something great? Do you learn anything new about this person? And we'll talk, each person, I'll do 10, 15-minute phone call at the end of the day. So that's helpful for me, being connected with them. We do a group chat, in the morning time. We've got where everybody's going to be, things that we need to know. We did our first staff meeting, I think you saw.
That's what I saw. Yeah. That's what I saw.
Yeah, we did that. So the company culture thing is something that was on the goals for this year, right? So wanting to do an outing at least once a month. That hasn't really happened in the past couple of months because it's hard to kind of coordinate that because as soon as you schedule something, then, the work comes, right? You're I need to have this off. And then somebody's well, I need that exact time. Yeah. So then it changes. So having the outings, having the meeting, just setting expectations, right, is kind of how we've fostered that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And just a lot of communication, right?
A lot of communication. I am probably an over communicator. Yeah. Yes, my morning text message is very long, very detailed, lots of notes going on. So yeah,
I'm sure they love it.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're like, oh yes, can't wait for that 40-page text to come through in the morning.
Nice. No, that's cool. So I just wanted to touch on this as well. I am aware that you have you've been doing coaching, and you and we've talked about coaches and mentors, and for a while, since before you had yours.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, like, so now that you've had you have a coach and you've been going through it.
It's a little bit different coaching than you've got. You've got like the one-on-one or like a group. What is it? A group of 5 or 10. We do. You've got all kinds of different things going on.
Right. Yeah.
So my coaching is not necessarily like that. So it's a group of 50. But it's all pillar to post franchisees, right? So that's nice to have that similar mindset. Like I said, they introduced a couple of things, and they give you these tools. And there's a lot of the stuff that I was already doing, I just didn't know it.
Yep.
But the accountability part is nice, like knowing that you have to like hit these certain goals because they're tracking, right? Because they're essentially the coaching group that we have came through Pillar to Post corporate, so they were at our brand conference 2 years ago, and they did like the whole speech and like pumping everybody up, make everyone feel good. Yeah. And so that's when they introduced the coaching, and so they essentially tailored their coaching for realtors for home inspectors, and so they are tracking like what we do to see how it works. And I mean, for me, working pretty good, and I think for the other people too. I know that a lot of other people have had success because getting out there is one of the hardest parts, and that is one of the things that they really drive into.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm just laughing because I'm like, I bet they're like, oh, Paige is like Paige is already, she's the one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will say, like, we have to like do you guys have to keep points in your coaching, like track stuff? Points
KPIs
like points, like every day, like you get a point for this.
Oh no, we don't.
Okay, so that's what we have to do, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say that I always have the highest points.
That reminds me of competing with you in the LOS thing for Nancy's bottles of wine. Yeah. What and that's one thing that I without you saying that I could have assumed, and I wouldn't be too far off. It's just that you're going to get shit done. You're going to implement the lessons that you want to implement, and you're going to take action, and you're going to get those points. You're going to stack those points. And I guarantee, without knowing that group, just if there's about 50 people in there, that not everyone is implementing, and the ones that aren't implementing are probably not getting those points because they're not taking those steps and actions.
Yeah.
I remember being in my first coaching program, and I felt like, and I'm going to say this carefully, I don't mean it with like a disrespectful tone, but I outgrew that program very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because the coach, it wasn't because of him. I didn't outgrow him. But what happened was I outgrew that program because I was in a group of about, I think there was 20 to 30 of us on these calls, and it was a weekly call. And I was, at times, I know I wasn't the only one, but at times I felt like I was one of the only ones that was actually implementing and taking action, like from the lessons that were being taught. And every week we'd come into this class. I don't know if yours is weekly or monthly or
every 2 weeks.
And I'd come into this class setting, I guess you could say via Zoom, and the same questions were being asked every week.
Yeah.
Every week. Like I was like, well, and at a certain point, I'm like, dude.
You're like, get it together.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's like the same exact thing. I mean, it's been 6 months since we've been in this class, right? And again, not to talk negatively about anybody, but if you're just saying like, oh, I still can't log my points, and it's been 6 months, like, that's your. That's
no, for sure, and that to me is like a macro way of looking at just like business, right?
Yeah.
That's why there's just so that's why not everyone gets past a certain point. That's why people reach certain heights. The people that do are far and few in between.
Yeah.
It just goes to show like the implementers, the integrators, the ones that actually do the things that you need to do. And and we're all guilty of not always following through, right? But there you go. You got a good sample size right there. You know? And again, I'm just just highlighting a point that I think would be of value, because the point here is if you're investing in coaching, and if you're investing your time, your money and energy, show up and do the work, because otherwise you're not going to find it value. Like there's people that are going to be out there and they're going to, I know these people that have gone to these programs and then they walk away and they're like, well, that was a waste of time.
And you're like, what did you do?
But did you
do anything?
But did you try? Did you listen to what was being said? Did you do the things that you needed to do to move yourself forward? And the answer is typically no, once you kind of remove the ego and the layers and all that kind of stuff. But kind of heavy, but
it is heavy. You like to get heavy on these podcasts, you know?
Yeah, well, you know.
That's what it's for, personal growth, right?
Yeah. Well, cool. What else, Paige? What else you guys got going on?
What else do we have going on? Well, we are halfway through the year. We've got our sewer scoping. We are going to be, you might see us on some TV screens coming soon.
What?
Yeah. We've got our Pillar to Post bonfire appreciation party in July. We've got a couple of home buying seminars that we're going to be working on in the next couple of months. So, I mean,
there's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah. And like I said, if people ask, I typically don't say no. So if there's things that people would like us to be a part of, I would love to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How can people keep up with all your events, everything that you guys have going on?
Yeah. So, I mean, Instagram is our biggest vessel for telling people what we're up to. So, Pillar to Post Home Inspectors 831. We've got a YouTube, also the same handle. Facebook. What else do we do? Yeah.
I never knew you guys had a YouTube channel.
Yeah. We have 189 subscribers.
Guys, listen, listeners, give me a hand here. You know what I mean?
It's hard to get subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah,
is
I think like easy. Everything else is the consistency.
That is true.
Ugh. Well, Paige, I want to thank you so much for coming in, especially on your birthday.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like it was a long time coming, and I feel like I want to do it again. Maybe have you and Andrew, or you and or Andrew.
Yeah.
You know,
we could have Marisol right there too.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, and you know, it's really exciting to see the growth that you guys are going through. And I know sometimes that it could be overwhelming when you grow as quickly as you do, but it seems like you guys are still like, you know, doing it in the way that you need to be doing. And I'm excited to see where you guys go from here, because did you guys win? Like, I know in your franchise, you guys won like
couple years. That wasn't for, so we're in 2024. So for 2023, we did not win the awards. It was for 2022. So it was, what was it? There was like 3 of them. They were all, I'm sorry. They were all really good ones. It was like highest sales for a second year. A couple of other good ones. Yeah. So, I mean, it's getting back to that, right? So I'm hoping to get a couple of more of those awards for the 2024 ceremony. It's going to be in Tucson this year.
Nice.
So
yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure if you guys are ruffling feathers, meaning like people are going like, oh, you guys are doing too much.
Oh, yeah. People do like to call me and tell me that.
Yeah, it sounds like you're doing a good job.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, awesome. Well, Paige, unless there's anything else, I just want to thank you again for spending your birthday morning with us, having coffee.
Thanks for my gift.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I can't wait to break into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Paige, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will talk to you soon.
Bye. I had to do it to the camera. Cheers. That was fun.